A little while back, I had a Q&A for what it was like being a model. Thank you, Joe Prince, for those questions. He's an awesome friend that I made here on YouTube. And he kind of wanted to do a general Q&A, so thank him for this. Or if this video sucks, blame him for this. This video is sponsored by your left baby toe. So I recorded my answers for this like maybe a year ago almost. And now that I'm finally getting to it, I kind of wanted to just record this again and kind of combine, because some of these answers might be a little bit different now. Definitely the how old are you? So here's his questions. Bada bing. So what made you want to do YouTube? It's a combination of a few things. My girlfriend wanted to start making content, so I was kind of helping her. And I thought, since she's making a channel, I might as well make my channel. And the channel I wanted to make was based on my music background. Now, I haven't been professional in the music industry in a grit. So what I mean by that is I would make music, and the music I make would turn out kind of smoothed out, like Grand Poobah type shit, Pete Rock, shit like this. Now, the label I was with, I'm not gonna call it a mismatch because I love them, but they do hardcore hip hop. And no matter how I start to make a song, it always ends up getting smoothed out. So there's a lot of beats that I done made that stayed in the hard drive. And when I try to do freelance shit, where I link up with a group, a lot of stuff went unreleased. And listen, my life is multidimensional, and so is yours, whoever's watching. Like, your life is enriched with many things. You're not just one thing in your life. So for me, I had a lot of other things that was blessing my life: football, church, friends, learning new skills, whatever. So, you know, it wasn't a big deal. But as time went on and years went by, I started to think about, dang, I got a lot of songs that I like that just collect dust on the hard drive. And occasionally I use making music as a form of diary. My preference is still, you know, writing it out, typing out my feelings. But sometimes it's more nebulous. It's a melody, it's a harmony, it's me improvising on the keyboard, and I might try to refine it into some kind of a beat or a song, something with structure, and then it'd just be there on the hard drive. Now, I lost a lot of those files and songs. The hard drive's dying because hard drives aren't immortal. So I was like, yo, I wish I could just put it somewhere where it's just there, like it's out there. And even if just one or two people see it, and if it resonates with them, then that's not just blessing me, but it's blessing someone else. So I started a music channel. Now, I didn't want to just put my music. I also wanted to see what would happen if I maybe did some music industry news or reactions. And the thing that gave me the biggest early wave was reacting. And so my channel kind of pivoted into reactions, sprinkled in with my original intent, which was a place to kind of archive my music and all that. Then I started my variety/gaming channel, Eric Gorn, which is kind of like my whatever I want channel, because everything here is music based, right? But sometimes I want to get into other things, and I love experiencing new music, like with people. They teach me something, I teach them something, maybe, hopefully. But sometimes I want to have that experience with things that are not music related, and that's what Eric Gorn is for. And it's mostly gaming, and I'm having a great time. Patreon is kind of a safe space from copyright claims as far as the music channel goes. And I'm a big football guy. I try to commit as much of myself as possible to seeing how far I could take it. My career ended in college, kind of sadly, you know, injury. I was playing a dirty team and I wasn't protecting myself. I just don't expect people to do dirty moves after the play. But when you play in a dirty team, you kind of got to be prepared and protect yourself at any time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. So yeah, my career ended and I followed the New York Jets. And there's a lot of New York Jets fans who love the game, but maybe they would be empowered to love it deeper if they had some. And I didn't play in the pros or nothing. I wasn't high level in college, but I noticed technique things or blocking schemes or just kind of like nuances that aren't really like readily available knowledge. So I kind of just go over film to maybe make it more fun for Jets fans and like football fans, because I cover other teams a little bit too, to love their team even more in a different way with another dimension added to it. That one I just started recently, so that's a baby channel right now. Anyway, are there any hobbies that you're currently into? Oh shit, that's a simple question, but for me, it's kind of a complicated answer. I've got a free spirit, right? My spirit animal's got to be like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. I just like wandering and getting into adventures, like just walking around the city or the borough, meeting up with somebody, kind of winging it. Let's jump over here, or that place looks interesting, and just making memories. I'm all about quality time, and the activity itself doesn't matter as much as the quality time. But I loved health, I loved fitness, I love reading, I love writing, music, of course. I love reflection, I love fighting. Like, I grew up like most Koreans doing taekwondo. Then I went to Gracie Academy for BJJ and Muay Thai. More interested in the Muay Thai. The BJJ kicked my booty. That was I didn't really get good at those things. Got got into boxing. I was ready to have my first boxing match. Probably my first and my last, because when I started boxing, I was like in my mid-late 20s. But I loved it. It's like beautiful. Boxing is like a dance almost. It's like a dance with violence. And when things are like hard and violent, but there's also an art to it, it just kind of really resonates with me for some reason. So I wish I could say travel, because I wanted that to be a hobby, but you know, money. I got into video games late in adulthood, probably mid to late 20s. I love treating my body like a temple, try to make an art form out of that as far as what food I put into it, how I take care of it, how I can push it. Like I say, mostly quality time with loved ones, if that's a hobby. So that was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, the answer would be like nothing. Like my whole life flipped upside down, gained a bunch of weight, and gaining weight ain't really nothing to me. It's the health aspect. I don't care if I'm heavier as long as I'm healthy, but I haven't been healthy for most of COVID, although that's changing now. Kind of caring about myself, caring about my body more, my health. I got into rolling cigars because when COVID happened, I got into vices, alcohol, tobacco, right now just tobacco, and it was more economical for me to roll my own cigars, and that's kind of a art form in and of itself. Video games, still content creation, really into growing plants like that to help increase my sanity level by like 2% throughout COVID. So I got plants around the house and shit. Once again, another art form in and of itself. You know, some people watering plants, taking care of them might be a chore, but if you look at it in a different way, it really is more like an art form. There's a beauty to it. I still do some shadow boxing at home or try to learn random physical skills at home, but you know, my life got a lot more simple. I don't even go outside that much anymore, and that was something that was synonymous with me before COVID. Just to give the spark notes on that, like I'd be outside with COVID and people would like thank me for COVID and then throw trash at me. I was in the grocery line, people throwing trash at me. Like the toughest part for me, like when I see guys who try to violate based on being Asian, whether they're trying to violate me or someone else, it's easy. Like I know exactly what to do. You know, I don't even really think about it. I just spring into action. But when it's a female, like I've never had an urge to want to get physical with a female. So I really just be standing there and I take it, and all that rage just gets bottled in and built up. And I don't know what to do with that energy. And of course they know what they're doing. You know, that's kind of what they want to happen. You know, people put guns on me, knives, all on account of some Asian stuff. And the thing is, like the things they were saying about Asians, like was not even true. Like they had these weird conceptions about Asians where they clearly bought into the model minority myth. Funny because the word myth is literally in that term. Or they look at Asians in Asia and the parts that have economically built up, and then they see an Asian American, and then they just, the way they compute that is, oh, it must be the same thing, which of course is like stupid, because you don't look at what's going on in like a Hausa village in Nigeria and then you see a black person in America and like, oh, they must be the same person. Like, no, you know, they two different people from two different countries. But for Asians, it's weird, man. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but the idea is that they were telling themselves about Asians and like spreading amongst each other was causing them to have such weird opinions, views, hatred towards them. I remember one person was like, oh, you must go to NYU, Chinese, you know, money this, money that. You know, she was a crackhead in the hood. And I'm like, bro, we're from the same hood. You see me out here, all this stuff. Like, you acting like you never seen me before. I've been out here. What are you talking about? Or like people who actually grew up well off would come here, and when they visit me, you know, they got to come to the hood when they visit me. And then all of a sudden, it's like they flip the narrative to where they're saying, I came from up there while they are from down here, where it was literally the opposite. You know what I'm saying? So, but the part that got to me was the violence, because for the first year or two, you know, I was able to tank it, but eventually it started changing me as a person, started changing my outlook on humanity. And I didn't go outside anymore because I knew the next situation I got into, it was going to be bad. Like, it was going to be really bad. Like, the way I was feeling, my next violation, I was going to go 100%. I was tired of it, tired of getting shot at, knife fights over some stuff that was based on like shit that was made up, that they made up in their head just to make themselves feel more upset. If I gotta take a hit over something that's real, that ain't an issue to me. But if it's stuff that you made up and you want to lash out at me over some fallacy, then it's just a really strange feeling, especially when they look at me, they really don't care if I live or die. So I didn't care anymore. I didn't care about me or anyone else living or dying. So I didn't go outside. And me not going outside led to my list of hobbies basically plummeting. However, I have the YouTube community and I meet like-minded people on YouTube. And it's been a wonderful outlet for me to get to know people, and whether we have similarities or differences, to be able to be civil and talk to each other with love, curiosity, and enjoy each other's company regardless. So the happy ending to all that is you guys. How old am I? I was born April 24th, 1990, New York City. That will make me 35. Well, there you go. What I learned about myself recently, you see, I love questions like this. Since COVID, how reflective and thoughtful I am has gone down to maybe 20% of what it used to be at best. So I went from constantly learning things about myself to like once in a blue moon. I learned that deep down, I still love humanity. I love people. I think the way I got was just, the rage was more of a self-defense thing and an in the moment hatred. But deep down, if I had my choice, if I could change the world, I want everybody to be able to love each other and not see other people through the lens of in-groups and out-groups. Like to have the cultural or national differences just to be something about you and not define you. You feel me? I learned that I have low self-worth, somewhere deeply seated, which probably resulted with me trying to tell myself and convince myself that everyone, including myself, has a right to be here and a right to express themselves. So most of the time, I'm positive and supportive, even with myself, but as soon as things get a little tense, I go back into low self-worth, like as my baseline, like this is actually where I belong, isn't it? Type stuff. I learned that's okay to make boundaries, because I used to see myself as like a tank. Like I could take it and I could love you despite your demons and faults, but I learned that it's okay to not make yourself a punching bag. Like if somebody is gonna hurt you, but they're reflective and they're trying to get better, then you bet. Like we could work with that now. However, if somebody's normalized lashing out at others on account of the inability to objectify their demons or to not do regrettable things when they're in an emotional state, it's okay to draw a boundary between you and them without hating them and without judging them, but that it's okay to do that. And that's something very recent that I got going on. I appreciate that question though, because I wish I could ask myself that more often so I could remain ever evolving, but unfortunately I'm a lot more avoidant than I used to be with that kind of stuff. So as far as self-reflection, what do I do in my free time, Joel? What free time? At the moment, I got the music channel, the variety channel, the Patreon, and now the football channel. So 80 to 100% of my day is working on them things. And that's how I want it right now, because I started content creation like a year and a half ago, and I said, I'm gonna give this 2 years, I'm gonna give it everything I got and just see what happens. And if after 2 years, it's no longer financially sustainable, then I'll pivot. I'll turn it into more of a part-time thing while I sell crack or something, whatever makes the most sense. Now I said 80 to 100% of the day. If I have a day where I have 1 to 20% free, I usually play a video game, or I'll just lounge, lay down, or watch YouTube videos. I'll be a consumer, an enjoyer of content too, not just trying to make it. I really want to go for a walk more, but 9 out of 10 times, even this month, like if I try to go outside, like I always run into some bullshit. I run into something that is a risk to how I'm hardwired, which is if you try to violate or step on toes, I'm going to press you on it right away. Like that's just how I grew up. And for whatever reason, for me, when I go outside in New York City right now, the respect isn't the same as it was when I was growing up. So someone does something, I press them, and then people look at me crazy. And then like my girl or my friends, they got to hold me back. And then I go through this whole mental pattern of like, why is everyone looking at me? Like I'm the one trying to defend myself against disrespect. Why is nobody going after the Looney Tune over here who's terrorizing everybody around here? You gonna check me and not check that person? Then I go into that mental pattern, and it kind of triggers some of that rage again, and then I just go inside again for a while. So a lot of my free time stuff is in the crib, you know what I'm saying? Maybe tending to my plants, smoking a tobacco pipe while I watch something kind of more cerebral or something that gets the wheels of my brain turning. Feel me? You want to get married and have kids? Yeah, I always imagine that for myself, because I love loving people. I love kids. I remember when I was a kid and I was around adults, I noticed adults didn't know how to like connect with me. Like it was like this huge barrier between us. And I told myself, as I get older, I do not want to forget what it feels like to be a kid, because I think connection is important to me. Bond is important to me. For example, if you and I are having some kind of a disagreement, I want to see it as an opportunity for us to connect. If you have one opinion and I have a different one, then we could share how we came to our conclusions on that topic and come to a deeper understanding of each other. And as a result, appreciation increases, bond gets stronger, and we didn't even have to end up agreeing. You feel me? Like the connection is kind of like important to me. So that hardwiring is expressed on this topic as I want to be able to connect with people, like even if they're kids. So if I see a kid, like I remember my niece was like 4 at the time, and when she want to play with me, like we play, and then one day she asked, because I play with her the way she plays with her peers, not like how an adult be trying to play with her. And she looked at me, and like I'm like 15 times her size, you know what I'm saying? And she was like looking puzzled, and she wasn't moving and grooving like usual. She just looked at me like she needed to ask something, and I'm like, what's up? And then she's like, so are you a kid or an adult? And I was kind of like, I didn't know how to react or answer to that right away. And in my speechlessness, she nodded her head and she said, okay, I got it. You're a kid. Now let's go play. You know what I'm saying? So the issue with that is like, I can't be a peer to my kids. Like I got to be able to be their parent, and I'm sure that'll come naturally when I get there. I hope so anyway. But yeah, somehow I always envisioned 2 kids because I was in a household of 2 kids, me and my sister. I feel like everybody just uses their upbringing as a model for how many kids that they want. If someone grew up in a house with 6, 8 kids, that's how many they want. They was the only child, they want only 1 child, you feel me? So I guess same thing for me. I love 2 kids. And what became important to me on top of that is that I'm the last male in my family tree. Korea has been through a lot. It's been colonized, it's been enslaved, it's been experimented on like animals. And in the process of that, in the recent wars, half of my family got executed brutally. And what ended up happening was the last male of my family name, that's me, and that's just me. And my grandma, and she had to live through Japanese occupation. So my grandma would remind me from time to time before she passed that I gotta make sure I have babies. And the story kind of was sad, and I was like, yeah, I got you. Like, that's so sad. I wanted to help, you know what I'm saying? I would do my part. And then we'll learn the history of Korea. It's like Korea was supposed to be wiped out like a few different times, but their resilience, their fight, that's why they're still here. That's why they're still alive. And it's just one of those cultures where it'd be really sad considering how hard they fought just to exist and be left alone to fade out of history. And in a strange way, I feel a part of that now. Feel me? So who's my top male and female rappers? I fuck with Doechii on the female tip. I like Nicki Minaj. I was following her when she was doing battles, and then she started making like mainstream rap music. And so I still respect her skills, you know what I'm saying? Out of the males, probably Big Crit would be really up there as far as male rappers. I remember when Big Crit, K-Dot, Big Sean, they were kind of in the same wave as far as when they were entering the industry. And I swore that Big Crit was going to be the one to blow up, but he ended up blowing up the least. He's still one of my favorite rappers. I like Grand Poobah for his swagger. I grew up listening to Tupac a lot. Busta Rhymes is a favorite. Pharoah Monch is a favorite. DMX, Redman, Nasty Nas. I like Tyler the Creator. He's such an artist. Royce the 5'9". I like 50 Cent. He was in that Get Rich or Die Trying era. Cordae makes some dope ass music. My only thing with him is like, if he gets into the gangster stuff, knowing he didn't really come from a gang background, you know, I have a weird reaction to that. But in general, I love Cordae. I love Drunken Tiger. I enjoy the Far Side for sure. For rap prowess alone, I don't know, but the music they make is dope. Really my vibe. Mos Def, Outkast, both of them. Rapping Forte. That's what Joey Badass a little bit. I wouldn't put him as my top though. Like, not because I don't like him. I just don't reach for his album as much as other people. When I was coming up, Cool G Rap was huge for me. I like Eminem from back in the day. Warren G, Mac Dre. I mess with Snoop Dogg a lot more as I grow up. Bizarre from D12. I used to mess with Kira One heavy when I first moved to LA. And to add more onto the female side, pretty much all the rappers from XG, like they all dope. They really, really nice with it. They better than a lot of the bigger artists right now to me. I remember I like Yo-Yo from back in the day. Yes, I know there's a lot of people. You asked for my top. Shit. I just named the whole roster, bro. My bad. I don't know. Like on any given day, it could be any of them, basically. My favorite color is green. And I remember this vividly. I was like 5. My parents, you know, when they had me, they weren't really financially established. I mean, they came from a goddamn third world country. They come here. The projects, the hood is a huge upgrade compared to where they came from. They just trying to establish themselves, but it's hard because nobody was hiring Asians at the time. Well, nobody was hiring Asians forever up until like super recent. You know, they were kind of last in line to get the employment because if you were a business and you had to hire a person of color, Asians were the last people on that list. So it was tough for them to get established. And so in that era, they couldn't always take care of me or keep an eye on me. So they'd send me here and there to different family members or like my friend's house. And there's a period of time where I stayed with my grandma in San Francisco, and she lived in kind of like this old folks community. It was really cool though. They had this big garden thing and on the side, like it was like bigger than the building itself. And I'd hang out there. You know, sometimes I go downstairs in the greenhouse lounge and do puzzles with the other grandmas and stuff, jigsaw puzzles. But I remember one day I was like, all right, So I'm 5. I'm about to be 6 soon. Whatever the numbers were. I'm gonna be a man soon. Like, this is literally what I thought. I'm gonna be a man soon. I need to start making man decisions. I need a favorite number and a favorite color. So favorite number, very easy. Born April 24th. So I was like, my favorite number is 4. Bada bing. What's my favorite color? I was laying on the grass. I looked to my left and to my right. I saw green grass. I was like, my favorite color is green. That was it. That was the most important decision I made that year. And as a result of that, a lot of my decisions that would stick with me for the rest of my life was based on my favorite color. I was a kid and football was dope to me. So my favorite teams, as I watched them play in their uniform, was the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets, just on account of them being green. What's my favorite season? Good question, because I try to think of every season as necessary, because I feel like that helps me deal with my seasons in life. If I'm going through a hard time, I don't want to tell myself this is wrong or something's not right. I need to go through winter so I can go through spring. I need to go through spring so I can go through summer, and there's going to be cycles. And I don't ever want to feel like a phase of my life is not valid. It's just like the seasons. Everything else in life works in cycles. So I try to see it where they're all valid. But for the sake of answering your question, I'll probably say autumn, because it's mild with no pollen. I get crazy allergies. I hate that shit. Where do I see myself next year? Shoot, man. Financially stable. The content journey has been a little tough, because even as simply as I do it, as far as my editing and whatnot, it costs money. It costs me like $100-200 a month just to keep it going. And the amount I make is like maybe not even a fraction of that. I don't really make anything on the music channel, because the videos I get views is the reactions, and the labels take that money, regardless of the fact of if I'm being transformative with their content, and it should be coming to me. The labels can just say no and take all the money, and if you're in the business of making money, you're gonna do that. So Patreon is kind of helping me keep the lights on a little bit. Gaming channel is building. It's not monetized yet, but it's building up, and maybe one day that'll contribute. The football channel is like a passion project. I'm not really looking to get any shillings out of that. So with that being said, next year, I don't know, bro. Like, I have about half a year left on this content creation experiment, but I don't have anything lined up after that right now, because right now I'm focusing all of my heart and my mind on making this work, which was part of my deal to myself. This is going to be who I am for 2 years. I'm going to act as if this is it. And once I get to that point, then I'll pivot, and maybe I'll try to tap into some of the relationships I've built and ask if somebody needs an extra help in the hand at their business, their restaurant, and do this part-time. But regardless, more financially stable, more healthy. I would love to be able to travel more, and it doesn't even have to be far. I could take baby steps, but I want to be able to go outside more. And I honestly feel like if I get out of New York, I'm not going to get as much of the nonsense as I mentioned earlier. I hope to get closer to you guys. And I feel like a lot of content creators, they realize community is probably one of the most important things to success, but what they really want to do is get views and have the community take care of itself in the comment section, so you can be a little bit more hands-off and just focus on releasing content, optimizing thumbnails, titles, and whatnot. But I really do enjoy the community aspect. I love tapping in with each and every single person that watches and comments, so I hope to keep building bonds in that aspect. If I get big, the issue is like I won't be able to do that as much, because if I get like 40 comments on a video, it takes me literally all day. So I might pivot to Discord if that's the case, as far as keeping tapped in with my community. But as far as the specifics, I don't know, man. Healthier, more stable, more thoughtful, more reflective, continuing to build bonds with my fellow humans like you. And that's the last question, man. I appreciate this. I appreciate our friendship. Appreciate anyone who's watching, who's curious enough to make it to the end. I want to invite you to give your answers to these questions in the comments, because the conversation ain't gonna feel complete to me until I can hear what you got to say too. It's 2 a.m. for me right now. I might have to take my ass on, but no one told you yet today. I love you. Goodbye forever for now.